When you send your kid to school, there's a cop there. A school resource officer, placed there to protect students, to be a role model, to keep your children safe. But what happens when the cop stationed at the school is the one your children need protection from? Meet a deputy in Douglas County, Nebraska, 23 years old, a sheriff's deputy since 2023. In July 2025, he was assigned as the school resource officer at Westview High School. Think about that. A 23-year-old deputy embedded in a high school with your kids. Here's how he got caught. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received a cyber tip. His iCloud account was flagged, linked to images containing potential child sexual abuse material. Not a rumor, not an anonymous complaint, a cyber tip from a national watchdog organization that tracks this kind of content. When investigators digested his phone, here's what they found. Possession of child abuse materials. On his cell phone, he had been taking photos of juvenile female members of the Explorer program, the law enforcement career program for young people interested in policing, and of female deputies. And then he used artificial intelligence to manipulate those photos, to generate nude images of the real people he worked with, of the young people who trusted him. He took their faces and their bodies and he turned them into something they never consented to, something they never knew about, using technology to violate them in ways that didn't even exist a few years ago. And while all of this was unfolding, while he was under investigation for creating AI-generated nude images of minors, he was caught heavily intoxicated during deputy hours. While on leave, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office fired him in May of 2026. But here's what happened next. He appealed. This 23-year-old former deputy claims the sheriff's office lacks sufficient evidence to support his termination, claims his rights were violated. His rights. The Explorer program exists to introduce young people to law enforcement, to mentor them, to show them what service looks like. He was supposed to be the example. Instead, he photographed them, used AI to strip them naked, and kept child abuse material on his phone. The same phone he carried while wearing a badge. While standing in the hallways of a high school, while being called officer by the students who walked past him every day. The Douglas County Sheriff's Merit Commission is scheduling a date to hear his appeal. The sheriff's office denied his appeal based on additional findings. But the question nobody is asking is simple. Who hired a 23-year-old and put him in a high school? What screening process approved this? And how many more like him are wearing badges right now, standing in school hallways with the same access and the same temptations? Your child's school resource officer is supposed to be the person they run to when they're scared. What happens when they're the reason your child is scared?